Hello, darling. My name is Hazel Ruth Barnett, and I am 101 years old. I will turn 102 this November, Lord willing. I have not been sick in 40 years, not flu sick, not hospital sick, not even a bad cold that kept me in bed. And I am going to tell you what I ate, the 5 things, the only 5 things that I believe are responsible for that. But not yet, because if I tell you now, you will not believe me. So first, let me earn it. I have had 3 doctors in the last 30 years. 3 good men who looked at my chart, looked at me, and got very quiet. The first told me whatever I was eating was not enough for a woman my age. He retired at 67 with high blood pressure and bad knees. The second told me my bones were going to be a problem. He ran a scan. When the results came back, he stared at them and said, "Mrs. Barnett, this is not what I expected." He passed at 72. My current doctor, Dr. Vasquez, pulled up my inflammation numbers last spring and said, "I see 60-year-olds who would be thrilled with these." I told her I had been eating the same things every morning since Eisenhower was in office. She wrote it down. First doctor in 30 years who wrote it down instead of arguing with it. I was born in 1922 in Harlan County, Kentucky. I lived through the Depression, lost a husband too young, raised 4 children alone, taught school for 28 years, and got through a pandemic at 98. This body has had every reason to give out. It has not. Those doctors all had the same question on their faces. If you are not doing what we told you, then what on earth are you doing? I will tell you exactly what I was doing. What was in that bowl every single morning for 40 years. Oatmeal, plain rolled oats, water, 5 minutes on the stove, less than $1 a week. I know, you expected something rare, but let me tell you what oatmeal actually does inside your body, because most people have no idea. Inside oats, there is a fiber called beta-glucan. Every morning it moves through your gut and wraps around excess cholesterol, carrying it out before it ever reaches your blood. My cholesterol has been in a healthy range my entire adult life, not from a pill, from this bowl. And here is what nobody talks about. 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. Your gut. Oatmeal feeds the bacteria that run that entire system. Every single morning for 40 years, I was feeding the part of my body that decides whether I get sick or I do not. While everyone around me was chasing the next supplement, I was doing something quieter and more powerful. I was feeding the system itself. I never missed a morning, not when I was tired, not when I was grieving, not when the mornings were short and the days were long. Same pot, same oats, same bowl. That is the whole foundation. Now, oatmeal was the foundation. Every morning without exception. But it did not stand alone. There were 4 other things I ate every day. Same simplicity, same stubbornness, same 40 years. The second thing was eggs, 2 every morning, fried in a little butter, eaten right alongside that oatmeal. Not egg whites from a carton, not a powder. The whole egg, yolk and all. I have eaten eggs my entire adult life, while the experts spent 30 years telling the whole country they were dangerous. I watched neighbors throw out their butter, switch to margarine, stop eating eggs entirely because a man on television told them to. I kept frying mine, because here is what is actually inside a whole egg: choline, which your brain uses to build memory and maintain nerve function. Healthy fats your cell walls are literally constructed from. B vitamins, selenium, vitamin D, all packed into something that costs less than a quarter. The yolk is where almost all of it lives. Throwing away the yolk to eat only the white is like draining all the oil from an engine and expecting it to run better. My mind at 101 is not what it was at 50. Nothing is. But I can hold a conversation, recall a story, read a letter without help, and remember what I did last Tuesday. I believe the egg deserves a share of the credit for that. God put everything a new life needs inside that shell. I never saw a good reason to disagree with the design. The third was bone broth. Every Sunday I made a pot. Chicken carcass mostly, sometimes a beef knuckle, whatever I had. Covered it with cold water, added an onion, a few peppercorns, and a splash of apple cider vinegar to pull the minerals from the bones. Simmered it all day on a low flame until the house smelled like something good was happening. 1 cup with lunch, 1 cup with dinner. I have done this for 40 years. When the collagen from those bones breaks down in the long, slow heat, it produces gelatin, and that gelatin is what lines and repairs the gut wall that everything else in your body depends on. It also feeds your joints. My knees at 101 are not the knees of a younger woman, but they hold me up. I walk without a cane. I got up from the garden floor last spring without help, which my granddaughter watched with her hand over her mouth. Bone broth is not a trend. My mother made it. Her mother made it. Every culture that has ever survived a hard winter made it because it is the most efficient way a human being has ever found to turn something cheap into something the body genuinely needs. Nobody sells it in a bottle because it cannot be patented. That alone tells you something. The 4th was garlic, 2 or 3 raw cloves every single day, chopped small and left to sit for 10 minutes before I ate them. That resting time matters. It is when the enzyme reaction happens that creates allicin, the compound that does the real work. I grew my own garlic for decades, planted it in the fall, pulled it in summer, braided the dried stalks and hung them in the kitchen the way my mother did. People came into my house and commented on the smell. I told them it was why I had not caught what they were carrying all winter. Nobody argued with me twice. Garlic has been used to fight infection in the human body for at least 5,000 years. It was given to soldiers and farmers because the people who relied on it lived to work another season. Modern research confirmed what those people figured out without a laboratory. Allicin is antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory, all at once. When the illness came through our county in 2018 and took down half the neighborhood, I was still eating my garlic every day the same as always. I am not saying it was the only reason I stayed well. I am saying I had been giving my immune system the same tools every single day for 40 years. And the immune system, when you treat it right, does not forget. The fifth was raw honey, not the kind in the plastic bear that pours like water and never crystallizes. That has been heated and filtered until very little of what makes honey valuable remains. I mean real honey, thick and dark, that solidifies in the jar over winter. From a beekeeper I could name, whose bees fed on clover and wildflowers within 10 miles of my house. A spoonful most evenings, sometimes stirred into warm water, sometimes straight off the spoon. Raw honey contains enzymes that help your body digest food, propolis that fights bacteria, and traces of local pollen that over time help your immune system stop overreacting to what is already in the air around you. My beekeeper sold me a jar every few weeks for 30 years. When he passed, his daughter took over the hives, and I have bought from her since. Raw honey has been medicine longer than medicine has had a name. Ancient physicians prescribed it for wounds, for coughs, for digestive trouble. Your great-grandmother knew to give it to a sick child. We stopped trusting it the same decade we stopped trusting butter and eggs, and our health went in the same direction our food did. I just never stopped. I know. You were expecting something exotic. Instead, I gave you oatmeal, eggs, broth, garlic, and honey. But the name of the food is not the lesson. The lesson is what happens when you give your body the same honest things every single day without fail. And the best way I know to show you that is to tell you about someone who never did. Her name was Nora Jean Caudle. We taught together for 20 years. Finest person I knew, and someone who could not leave her health alone. Grapefruit in the 60s, wheat germ in the 70s, a cabinet full of supplements by the 90s. Every time I saw Nora Jean, she had found something new. Every morning I made my oatmeal. Nora Jean had a heart episode at 71 and another at 74. She called me from the hospital after the second one and said, "Hazel, I have done everything right, and my heart still did this." She passed at 78. I think about her every morning when I sit down with my bowl. She was buying immunity. I was building it. Consistency does what novelty never can. 40 years. No shortcuts, no upgrades, no missing days. That is the whole story. I am 101 years old. I do not know how many mornings I have left. What I know is that tomorrow I will put the pot on, make my bowl, and sit in the quiet before the day begins, grateful for a body that still shows up. Here is what I want you to do tomorrow, not Monday, tomorrow. Pick one thing from this list and start. 1 bowl of oats, 2 eggs, a cup of broth, a clove of garlic, a spoonful of honey, just one. And do it the next day too. That is how 40 years begins.